What is good, everyone? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to the PE Nintendo Switch and Gaming News video. We've had an extremely busy Tuesday. If you have not seen my live reaction and my Nintendo Direct recap for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, make sure you check that out on the channel. It's already up as far as both of those videos, and enjoy. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into today's news. So, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC Champions Ballad is slated for December. Now, it's been somewhat of a mystery as far as how this DLC and when this DLC was going to be coming, but the Champions Ballad DLC for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will be launching this December. Now, the only concrete window that we do have is Holiday 2017 beforehand. However, the European Nintendo Switch eShop seems to have a clearer answer for this, and on the listing for the DLC, Nintendo says that the Champions Ballad is planned for a December release. And The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's new DLC pack features a brand new dungeon, an original story, and more new challenges. Hopefully we'll be getting more details about this soon, but I really do think Nintendo wanted to make sure that they got the third-party directs and the third-party games out of the way first. We still have a big November, and then once that is over with, probably by the end of November, they'll announce the release date. They wanted to get the Xenoblade Direct done with, they wanted to talk about the third-party games and all of that. Get all that out of the way because we already know everyone's excited for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. A lot of people have already pre-purchased the DLC, so there really isn't any reason to mix it up with the marketing as far as the games that you're talking about now that still have not released yet. So there's really no reason for them to talk about it right at this point. We all know it's coming. We've all pretty much already bought the DLC, so they'll talk about it once all the third-party games are out of the way, and they got the Xenoblade Direct out of the way as well. So I'm looking forward to probably them announcing the actual release date late November, right around that time or so. So what do you guys think about the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC, the Champions Ballad? Will you guys be picking this one up? Are you guys still playing the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? I picked it up just the other day just to try out the Master Mode, in addition to finishing up a few different shrines and collecting some Korok seeds from my other save file. So it is fantastic, and every time you pick up the game, it really is magical every single time. It's such a good game, going from Super Mario Odyssey to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Then we have Xenoblade. There are just so many good games. I'm looking forward to checking out this DLC when it drops this December. So what do you guys think about this as far as the release window for it? I was thinking most people probably thought it was going to be December anyway. Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the next article here. Dissidia Final Fantasy Arcade adds Golbez from Final Fantasy IV, Stellar Fulcrum stage from Final Fantasy XI as well. So a brand new character joins the fray in the arcade roster this November. So the arcade version of Dissidia Final Fantasy will add Golbez from Final Fantasy IV as a playable character, and the Stellar Fulcrum stage from Final Fantasy XI in its November update Square Enix has announced. You can check out brand new trailers for Golbez, Stellar Fulcrum stage, and so much more. There's even an update that was posted to where there's a gameplay video of Golbez as well, so we'll go ahead and show that off too. So it's looking pretty good. Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, that's the PlayStation 4 version of the game, should probably have Golbez. I'm not sure if he's going to be a launch character, but he'll probably be added in because, and this is how a lot of the Japanese companies usually do it. They usually have the arcade version, they test it out, they see how things are going, test out any kinks or bugs, and then once that is done, then they release that version as far as the new character on the console. That's pretty much how it's been done for most of the Japanese games out there. Tekken, Pokken, lots of different games did that. So Dissidia Final Fantasy NT is no different here. So what do you guys think about this so far? Dissidia Final Fantasy NT isn't on my radar too much. I'm probably going to try it out at some point, but what do you guys think about it? Are you planning on picking up the game? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the next article here, an investment banking company expects the Nintendo Switch to sell 115 million units by 2023. Now this is coming from Takahashi Mochizuki from the Wall Street Journal, and he stated that Nomura executive expects 23 million Nintendo Switches sold in the FY next year, 115.8 million Nintendo Switches sold by March 2023, and a hardware margin bet of 8.8% and 14% due to accessories. So this is very aggressive when it comes to the prediction. Now 2023, that is 5 years from this point because we're in 2017, so if we're talking about 5 years, maybe a little bit less or so. But still, can the Nintendo Switch sell that much? It's very slim that the Nintendo Switch can sell that much. It's not like overly like, okay, this is definitely going to happen, because even if Nintendo for the next 5 years was to sell 10 or 12 million units a year. You're not going to get anywhere near that 115 million. But is it possible to sell that much? People keep on saying, no, it's not going to happen. I don't think that's necessarily the way to go because there's too many unknowns at this point. I think, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Hard. It's definitely going to be hard to do so, but how can Nintendo sell that much? Well, one thing that they definitely need to do is making sure that they keep on going into the smartphone stuff. Bringing people over from smartphones to their home consoles, to their portable devices is going to be very key. So if Nintendo can penetrate the smartphone market even more than they have with stuff like Pokemon like they're doing, they're also having Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, all of these games, then also get more franchises on there and actually entice those people to pick up a Nintendo Switch. Heck, even if they don't even buy a lot of software for the system, if they just pick up the system and like a game or two, that's how Nintendo can actually get to that amount, 115 million. They would have to sell a lot of systems every single year. Definitely it would be a lot, but it is possible based on how things are going. Now, if I told you a year ago that the Nintendo Switch was going to sell 16 to 17 million units in its first year, launching in March, which is what Nintendo has it on track for. And based on all accounts, as far as how the sales are going, Nintendo winning MPDs and pretty much winning every single month in Japan and doing very well in Europe as well, it's looking like Nintendo's going to hit that 16 million or then some based on stock. If I was to tell you that Nintendo was going to sell that much in the first year, I don't think anybody would have believed me. I remember when I put out a report, I think it was from the Foxconn leak or something like that, saying that Nintendo Switch was going to sell around 20 million, or Nintendo was looking to aim for that in the first year and a half or so. People were like, that's crazy, it's never going to happen. And now here we are at this point with the Nintendo Switch probably over 9 million units at this point, and we're not even into the holiday push. So for me to just sit back and say, yeah, you know what, it's impossible, no, it's not going to happen, Nintendo's not going to do that, I would say that that would be a wrong way to look at it and look at the ways that it could happen and the possibilities. It's hard. I'm not sure if it's going to, like I said, I'm not sure if it is, but I'm not going to sit here and rule it out based on everything that's been going on with the Nintendo Switch. Portability is king at this point. People love the hook of the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is making a ton of games for it, and this will have a Pokemon title on it. You have to remember that. You're getting all of Nintendo's big mainline franchises, Zelda, Mario, everything like the home console version, but you're also getting the best from what Nintendo did on their portables. So you're getting the Pokemon game, you're getting Shin Megami Tensei, you're getting a lot of different titles, and you see Japanese developers pretty much scrambling at this point to put out more of their bigger titles in addition to not just ports. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of that in 2018 and a lot of that in 2019, pretty much to almost 100% develop ratios for the Nintendo Switch. It will definitely be near that by 2019 or so. I can definitely see them pulling above the Wii, and that's kind of where I'm looking at it from, because the Wii sold a lot of units in a very short amount of time. Nintendo sold a ton. They sold nearly 100 million units in like 5 to 6 years. So Nintendo can definitely top that based on how things are going right now. They just have to kick it into high gear, get some more units out there, and make sure that they put out big hitter after big hitter like Pokemon, get Shin Megami Tensei, get some of those Japanese third parties, get stuff like Doom, try to go out there and get Wolfenstein. Keep on doing what you're doing in addition to going through in the smartphone market, fixing the system when it comes to some of the issues with the Nintendo Online, make sure that's solid, and I think that Nintendo can definitely hit somewhere near that number and definitely hit above the Wii. I'm looking at a perspective from Nintendo continuing to drive their business how they're doing right at this point, but like I said, anything can happen, and I think it's interesting. I definitely think it's interesting, some of the responses and some of the stuff, but I understand both sides of people saying that it won't happen, and then I understand that people saying that, hey, you know what, it's possible, and I'm just looking at it from, well, yeah, if we're looking at it from a sales perspective, and we're looking at what the Wii did, and especially how much better the Nintendo Switch is when it comes to software and release schedules and the hook of the system, I think the Nintendo Switch is definitely better. Can Nintendo do that? Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. And on top of that, something that people aren't mentioning with this is that the fact that there might be revisions, and I think that there will be revisions if Nintendo puts out a new Nintendo Switch and it bumps up the power, supplemental computing device and all that, that can easily extend the life of the system well past 4 or 5 years or whatever the case is, and get more units out on there, just like they've extended the life of the Nintendo 3DS as well after a slow start. So I definitely think that Nintendo can reach it. It's just a matter of really making the right business decisions, continuing to hit on all factors in the market and continue to push the great software, and Nintendo can get there. Definitely, at least minimum, matching or beating the Wii. Alright, ninjas, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live sponsorship page. When you support Player Essence, it gets you access to all sorts of cool features, prizes, Discord voice chat, prize tournaments, and so much more. So check out the link in the description below and consider sponsoring Player Essence right here on YouTube. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you ninja for the next video. Peace.